All right, so before we start diving deeper into the DeFi 101 course, I want to talk a little bit about the tooling that is needed in interacting with decentralized finance, with the decentralized financial ecosystem. So before we start, we will cover a little bit more in depth, like what are decentralized applications, how to explore the blockchain and what are the different blockchain explorers, and how to install MetaMask. If you already are familiar with these topics, you can skip this section or you can watch and refresh your memory. Also, I want to remind you that we also have a blockchain and Bitcoin 101 and an Ethereum 101 course that you can follow before diving deeper into this DeFi 101 course. So let's get started. Okay, so what we first need to wrap our heads around is like, what are actually decentralized applications? Decentralized applications are applications that run on a distributed computing system on a blockchain. In DeFi, decentralized finance, we will be interacting with different decentralized applications with the decentralized financial ecosystem. All right, let's take a deeper look at what a decentralized application actually is. Let me open my screen and let's get started. Okay, so a decentralized application is an application that runs in a distributed system. Well, what's the difference with a centralized application? A centralized application, like for example Facebook or an exchange or other applications, are running on one central server and not on a distributed server. What does that mean and why is that important? So the thing is, when you interact with an application that just runs on a central server, that means that one central party can just censor your transaction or controls your data or can steal your money or your funds. And as you can imagine, that's especially important for decentralized financial applications. As we can see here in this nice illustration from this article that I will also link in the description below, is here we see here a user. That's us. And a user, we always interact with a web UI, with a GUI. And in computer science and in software, it's always about abstraction layers. When you interact with a website or with a program or web application, you basically interacting with software that then, in its turn, interacts with a server. If you interact with a central server, the data is stored on one central server, and one central party can change the data, controls your data, can steal your data, or can also potentially do transaction and changes in the data that you store on that server. In a decentralized application, it's not possible for one central party to change, own, or control your data. In a decentralized application, you are the owner of your own data. That comes with bigger responsibilities that we will be diving into later on. A decentralized application basically means that the data is not stored in one place, but on a distributed network. That being said, a decentralized application is not always an application where everything runs on a distributed network of computers. It's also constructed more abstracted, right? So in the more modern decentralized applications, we can see different storage layers or different backend data for common data. And then we have a blockchain side of it where the more important and mission critical data is transmitted on. Okay, let's look at some decentralized applications. A good website to get an overview of the decentralized application ecosystem is DappRadar or State of the Dapps. Also, these links will be linked in the description below. You can explore all these different dapps and interact with them by yourself. Especially after you're done with this introduction and DeFi tooling course, you will be also capable of interacting with these dapps as well. So let's take a look. Here we see different protocol layers, basically different blockchains where different dapps are running on. We can see right here, there's a couple of games, there's some casinos, there's some exchanges, etc. So What does it mean to interact with a decentralized application? Let's take Dice to Win, for example. Dice to Win is a casino decentralized application. This GUI, this web UI front end, is just run on a central server where the data and the common data is stored on the central server, but the smart contracts, when interacting with these different games, are run in a decentralized manner, where there's not one central party or one house that can change the metrics or that can say like, hey, I see this guy is playing, I change the data so the house wins more. No, it's run on a decentralized application via smart contracts. Smart contracts are basically contracts, lines of logic, lines of code that run on these blockchain servers on a distributed network of computers. So if we want to interact with these different games, we can, for example, say we want to play Ether Roll, we can start playing this game. As you see here, it starts now to ask me if I want to connect this app to my MetaMask. We will explain later in this course what MetaMask is. But MetaMask is basically a extension to your browser or a tooling to interact with the blockchain. Similar how your browser is a tooling to interact with the server. So let me grant access and say to this, basically saying to the web UI that I allow this smart contract to interact with my address. All right, so now I can interact with this casino game and I can start placing bets, which I will do in a minute. Another cool example of a dApp is Pool Together, which is also a DeFi, decentralized financial product. Pool Together is a very interesting game, which is basically a non-loss lottery. When I install the MetaMask extension, I will go more in depth into this tool, but the basic simple workings of it are as follows. You deposit a small amount of DAI. DAI is basically a stable token pegged to one to the dollar. Also, DAI will be explained later in the course, but for now, just know that DAI is $1. When we are committing money to the pool, we can actually see that the money that we put in there is put in a interest-bearing account. And a lot of people pool DAI together from different sides. When the DAI is put in the pool, and at the end of the cycle, we can see that here in the let's say we start the app and we can go to prices and we can see here, right? So what's happening right here? So we can see that there's different prices that we're giving out to different addresses. Basically what's happening, if I join the pool with my money, I get like DAI tickets in return, and those tickets give me the right to potentially win this prize. When the prize is given out, I get back my initial deposited amount, and if I win, I also get the prize money. If I don't win, I just get my initial amount back. So that's why they call it a non-loss lottery, which is, in my view, a very, very cool concept. And we can see that right here. Let's view at the previous prize that that was given out by Pool Together. So we can see here that the amount committed was around $500,000, and the total entries were 3,348. And we can see here the different players about different amount of tickets. And we can see here that this player with this address, we can explore that address, won the prize of $1,343 by inputting an amount of DAI tokens, an amount of money, to potentially win this prize. He won the prize and got his initial amount. All the other participants, all the other 3,348 participants got back their initial amount. They didn't get back their interest, but they got back their initial amount. Only one person of the whole pool will get the interest that occurred over the time frame when the pool was running. To inspect that, we can see that here. But for now, we will not go in depth into this, into the Block Explorer. That's for the course next to this. Yeah, so just to do a short recap. What are decentralized applications? Decentralized applications are basically is basically software or code or apps that are run on a distributed computer network, a blockchain. A dApp doesn't necessarily mean that everything needs to run on a blockchain. You also have hybrid dApps where some data that's not mission critical is stored on central servers, but the most mission critical data should be stored on a blockchain in order to interact with it safely. All right, so that's it for now. That are dApps. I want to encourage you and ask you again, if you have any question or want to learn more about dApps, read the description below with some of the links so you can dive deeper by yourself. If you have more questions, please make a forum thread and ask the question that you have, and I will answer them for you. I'm looking forward to now start diving deeper into what block explorers are and to actually verify the different actions you do on the dApp. But for now, these are dApps, and in the next one, we're going to dive deeper into block explorers.